everyone, Mckenzie here. I'm so excited to show you a little trick today. We're going to be talking about a bubble braid, what that looks like. And I'm actually gonna do two, so it's a double bubble. I mean, if anything, at least you get to learn how to say that word because it's fun to say. So hang with me, check out how I'm gonna do this. Okay, so before we begin, I wanna tell you, she is wearing 2 rows of extensions. She's actually wearing 2 rows of invisible bead extensions. So what I'm going to focus on today is showing you how to actually do bubble braids and keep them invisible. The first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna part her down the center all the way from the forehead to the nape. And right there, you can see she's got 1 row of IBE right here. You can see that sewn in, and then another row right here. So what we're gonna make sure that we do is cover that up with the way that we are placing those braids. Okay, so these are the rubber bands that I like to use. I like to keep everything clear because that way it's not showing up, it's not sticking out. Again, we want this seamless and invisible double bubble braids. So find some of these. So I like mine to start about from up here. You can start them back here, but today we're gonna be going up here first. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a small section at the top. Now again, this is just her hair. I'm not taking any of her top row of IBE. We're just going to start out with this small section right here. We're going to attach one of the clear rubber bands. And we don't want it to be super tight. We want this to be like loose and flowy, have some volume. So again, once you get it in there, you can kind of play with it and make sure that she has some volume up here. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're going to go and you're gonna take another slice out of a section. You can use a comb or your fingers. This doesn't have to be perfect. We almost don't want straight lines because then it looks too perfect, okay? So I'm gonna grab this. Now I wanna show you, here's the corner of her extensions right here. Okay, so I am dragging hair in front, I'm pulling hair in front, and I'm making sure that it's going to cover that. So you wanna leave enough when you take your first slice, you wanna leave enough to cover that corner right there. Okay, so then you have these 2 kind of ponytails that you've started out with. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna split this down the middle. You're gonna take this one up, just like this. You're gonna take this one that was underneath, you're just gonna flip it and clip it. Okay, then you're just gonna continue on. I like to go, you know, about 1 inch on every section. So I grabbed my next inch, I've cut through my row, okay? Here is my row of IBE. Right here, you can see I cut through it. So I took a little bit of the top, a little bit of the front, and I'm going to add that. Now you can make adjustments. Once you have something in, you can kind of pull, you can make those adjustments on where you want things to go. Now, I'm gonna drop this. We're gonna do the same pattern. Split it in half, move this one up. You know the drill, flip it and clip it. So the most important part to realize when you're working and doing these kind of braids with hand-tied extensions, you always have to leave this buffer in front. This is what you're using to kind of cover and go over your braid. And again, I mean, you wanna make sure that your extensions are blending with your natural root. If they're not, no matter how hard you try, this is gonna be really difficult to cover these. So you wanna make sure that your stylist is blending that top of your extensions to match. Split it. Okay, once you get to this back part, we're right here, here is our weft. What we wanna do is we wanna make sure that this is in the middle of our section. If it's at the top or if it's at the bottom, look, if I went to just grab this, I would be pulling this hair, you would totally see that. So you wanna make sure that this is like hidden inside. You're just gonna take a slice and you're gonna add that, okay? Also, this we're gonna pull out a little bit and that's gonna end up covering. So there's a little bit of like a curtain that you create with the client's natural hair that's going to come across that, because if you pull super tight, again, you're gonna see stitching, you're gonna see where those rows attach. So this is almost a veil that's created to go over the top. You can pull that out after the fact, or you can just make sure that you're aware of that as you're putting in your first rubber band. Okay, so again, right here, we put this in the middle. What do we do with this last one? So we're gonna split this to make sure that we have a veil. You always wanna leave that veil. So I'm going to make sure that my next section comes from right here, so that when I grab my next, this will be covered once again. Here we are on this bottom row. So I have this veil that I've created right here with her natural hair. And I'm going to grab a little bit underneath that. So that row is basically just kind of tucked up inside. And again, what I'll do is I'll pull this out at the end and create that coverage for that, almost like that curtain. Grab the remaining, whatever's left down at the nape. Okay, so what you can do now is go through and just kind of make those adjustments. So again, right here, we're gonna wanna pull this and create a veil. Okay, just like that, now it's hidden. So these parts right here where you're pulling, it's really important. You don't wanna get too far into your braid before you make those adjustments. So I actually like to go through and pull through this top part first. You're gonna grab these two outer edges and you're just gonna pull on them. Pinch and pull. We're going for messy. The messier and bigger, the better. There's no perfect way. We don't want them to look perfect. You almost want to have some looping, some things being pulled out. Again, we want this to be covered, okay? Right there. And then when we go on this side and we create those veils, we'll be totally covered. Okay, so now what you're gonna do, you've got this thicker part which was coming out through the braid. You're just gonna grab another rubber band, go down about this far, and then you're just gonna poke to the middle and you're gonna bring this one out. Okay, same thing, and you're just gonna repeat that process all the way down, as far down as you wanna go. Now this is really fun because you get to customize like what your look ends up looking like at the end. You can stop, like you could stop right here if you wanted and leave a little bit of a tail. You could tie on a bandana or something like that, or you can go further down. So I'm gonna go a little bit further down, but not too much. Okay, so once you get down to about a point where you are finished, then again, you're gonna kind of do the pull-out trick. Grab the two sides, pull them up, and make it as tight or as loose as you want down there to the ends. Again, I like mine super messy. And that's the beauty of wearing extensions, is you have a lot of hair to play around with and make messy. I'm gonna show you how to tack these down when I get to the other side as well. We'll leave these for the end. So I wanna make sure that these two front sections are symmetrical. And so, you know, most of the time when you're braiding, you're working on the back of your client's head or the back of your own head, but look in the mirror, look square on with your client, make sure those are even before you do the whole braid and realize that they're lopsided. And remember, you're gonna split this in half. Pull this one up through and clip. And again, we've got this corner here of her extensions. So I wanna make sure that I'm not grabbing any of that hair. Otherwise, it's gonna cause kind of like a bubble right there. So allow this to lay flat. You're gonna pull the hair in front of it, just like that, then you don't see anything. What I'm doing right here is I'm grabbing, again, this hair that's in front, and I'm using this to create this buffer piece. If you grab too much of this corner of the hand-tied extensions, then it's just gonna cause bubbles and bumps and it's not gonna lay flat. So again, I'm getting now into where this top row is. So I have enough hair to use as a veil. I don't want to pull it super tight because then I'm going to see that. So we're going to use that as a curtain over the top. And then again, leave a curtain that can go over this row. This you're going to pull out so that it relaxes there. So I want you to look at the difference between the one on the right that has already been pulled and the one on the left that is still nice and flat. So I don't know about you, but I definitely prefer this look. Plus, by pulling everything out, it helps to create kind of this looseness and this flow to your braid or to your double bubble braid, which is going to hide your extensions if you are wearing them. Okay, so let me remind you again of how I like to do this once you're just dealing with this and not French braiding it in anymore. You're just gonna make a ponytail. You're gonna stick your finger through it and pull out, oh my. Continue on that process all the way down the back of the head. Okay, so I finished off the right side, and as you can see, you can't see any elastic at all. It almost looks like you tied your hair in a knot, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. And again, I'm not gonna take credit for something I didn't create, and I wanna tell you this is a Sam Via trick that I learned, man, like way back when I was in cosmetology school. So I'm gonna show you that now, just in case you haven't seen it before. Okay, so you're gonna take this smaller end, and you're gonna wrap it around this elastic. And then you're gonna take this bobby pin, put the end through it all the way up, and then you're gonna feed this down through your rubber band. You're gonna pull it out. You might have to give it a little wiggle, and voila. Now it looks like we've tied her hair in a knot without any elastic. Hopefully you guys learned something new today. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, please like, subscribe, share, do all the things.